exact proportion where one isn't outweighing the other, you've got white. You've got perfection. Now, if you were to take an emotion and you give it a color, let's say anger, we're all going to associate with red. Many people would. And if you say anger is red, and you've got your color white here, and we introduce just a little bit of anger, what happens to our white? It's no longer pure.
More of a chameleon.
And so we have within creation the spectrum. We have the diversity in order for us to experience all of these different aspects. So whether it be colors or whether it be anything else, it has a place. Every part of creation is part of a whole.
You think that colors was meant to interbreed? Crossbreed?
I would say that again, if you're looking at the whole as a whole, then all the pieces fit together. Yes. Everything is here for us to experience. One is not greater than the other, but they all have a significance in that it gives us opportunities. It gives us opportunities for experience.
How about another question that comes to mind is, why do children die young? What is the reason? Do you think God takes them young and leaves them with parents to experience a hardship? What happens? Why do children die so young?
Well, one of the things you just touched on, do parents experience hardships? I would say this. First of all, we have to look at a child in terms of what a child is. If we look at a child from the truest sense, a child is no more or no less of a spirit than some elderly person, as spirit. And so when you look at spirit first, not last, look at spirit first. Spirit is infinite. The child is a form.
So time and space comes into
Time and space comes into play here. The child or the 90-year-old man.
Same thing?
Same thing.
Just the vessel is different.
The vessel is different. So when you look at it that way, now you have to look. The details of each moment are going to be very, very confusing when you're trying to look at the infinite from a finite point.
Too much detail.
Too much detail, exactly. Do people have to have these traumatic experiences to open ourselves to something? Perhaps. Is there a divine purpose for each moment? Yes, there is. There is a divine purpose for each moment. It's beyond the capacity of anyone who's trying to look at this moment and define it relative to a limited view. It says God is omniscient, meaning God sees beyond time and space. From a spiritual sense, we are part of that omniscient view, and if you could release your attachment to the form, you would open the door to that view. But then the details of this world would no longer be true. So it's very difficult for us to pinpoint and say, no one is in a position to say, this person died on this day for that to happen. Because you'd have to have that omniscient view in that moment to give the specifics of that moment.
Right. In your book, you suggest that sin is a detachment away from God, or a separation from God. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Well,
again, you have to take this back to spirit, and you have to take this back to the definition of love being a level of awareness. If in fact you take it to the level of awareness and you say, okay, I'm one with God, and I am one with God, meaning I recognize my true spiritual self beyond this dimension of time and space. In that moment, there would be no judgment. In my book, I talk about the fact that God told Adam and Eve, now of course, this was a metaphor to give us an understanding of the mechanics of creation. That's paramount that people understand. Adam and Eve were representing us. They were representing